Okay, hello everybody. Hello. I'm just getting my live stream going. I had some freezes on Monday's show, so hopefully they won't return. So I just want to make sure everything is good. Sorry, it started slightly late just because I was having a few technical issues. Yeah, I figured out the dilemma with my camera. Those of you who caught last week's show had a little problem with my main camera just before the show, and I thought that the power supply had packed up. It wasn't, in fact, the power supply, but it is a technique. If you have got an A6000 and you swap lenses out on it, all of you out there who do that, if the camera freezes, what you have to do is if you're powering it from a battery, is just like take the battery out with it on, put it back in with it switched on, and then it comes back. Just found that out in the nick of time. Anyway, that works. So, welcome to the show, everybody. The Gaz Williams Show. Seeing the chat room filling up. Nice to see you all guys there. Thank you ever so much. And it's great to see the same gang coming back time and time again. Is amazing. It makes me feel really pleased to be part of something that is cool. Now, making a second appearance after last week's show. I mean, last week's show about this is the worst performing show of all my shows that I've ever done. How about that? It's really sad, isn't it? I think it's a lovely bass, but clearly people want me to waffle about synthesizers and not basses. But hard luck, it's my show, and I'm doing... I'm going to do what I want. Yeah, apologies for slight late start, though. As I say, a few technical issues. However, what is on the slab tonight? We have got the Source Audio C4 pedal. Now, I think this should be of interest, like super interest to everybody, really, because it sort of bridges the gap between guitar, bass playing, and the synth world. But anyway, so the way we're going to do it is, right now here I am flying by the seat of my pants. I've got the editor up here now. When I'm looking at the editor, it means I can't see OBS, so I can't see if I've frozen. So, yes. But anyway, I think it might be quite fun to explore this little synth engine and see what it's capable of, because you might be surprised. I certainly was. There's quite a lot in here. So let's just come back out of here for a moment. It's a really small pedalboard friendly pedal. Hang on, let's go on here. It does have stereo in and stereo out, but as we'll see in the editor, you can use it. You can assign those inputs and outputs for different purposes. Now, that's something that you find in the Source Audio family, actually. I have the Ventris in the same One series. This is part of the Source Audio One series, and that is very, very configurable as well with an app. Now, what's kind of unusual with the Source Audio way of doing it, you've got a USB socket on the back, and that's how we've connected it to the Mac in this case. But you could also go into input one with a TRS mini to, like a 3.5mm to a 6.4mm jack into your phone, if you've got a clagnut, into your phone, and then you can use the editor, and it uses just like your headphone output sort of thing, to kind of program it. So you don't connect, so you can connect to iOS or I'm guessing Android as well that way. So yeah, but we're going to be using it with the Mac software. I'm not sure how easy to read it is. It's not the best looking, as we'll see. It's a bit ugly, really, isn't it? However, when we start exploring it, it's a very capable thing. Now, why on earth would I be interested in a synth pedal when I've got like one of the greatest MIDI basses that you can get? Well, as I mentioned, pedalboard friendly. I've got gigs coming in. Oh, and there's some nice ones as well, which entail getting the pedal boards sorted and ready for the gigs. Now, on my pedal board, I'm going to make a video about my pedal board because there's lots of things of interest to us in the nerdier end of things. But real estate is really kind of precious on the pedal board. So this has got to provide certain functions. I need it to be able to essentially do a deep funky synth bass kind of sound. And there are some of the presets out the box sound pretty good. So I think without further ado, let's have a little listen to some of the sounds of it. Signal path is out the Isononics bass, just straight in, no preamp, nothing. Out of this and then into the RC 505. Okay, and then the 505's just there, ready and waiting. As is the Arturia Micro Freak. You might have noticed this. I've set this up now because I've just got the little microphone, gooseneck microphone that they've made for it. Now, if you have got a Micro Freak, you should go out and buy one of these. They're about 20 quid or 25 quid or something, so they're not much. But a friend of mine, Robbie Bronneman, he said, look, it's the sort of thing that they might not make for forever. And it's bespoke. It's as bespoke as it gets, because there's this little panel here. And what it does is it uses a TRRS jack to go into the headphone output. But you can see this casing is designed. In fact, if I just put my guitar down, the casing, the microphone, when it clicks in, it clicks in with this sort of surround casing here, and then there's a breakout there so you can still plug your headphones in. So anyway, that's how that works. I haven't even tried it yet, so that's just there, just taunting us. So things can happen. Things can happen when there's a vocoder around. However, the focus though is the C4, and I said we're going to listen to it, and that's what we'll do. Right. Let's see. So what I'll do is, there's 6 kind of factory presets. I think we'll play through them and see what the controls do. Actually, just before we do that, you've got 4 controls on here, and you've got a little toggle switch. Basically, there's other ones in this range. I've got exactly the same build on it, so I guess they just do different firmwares on them. Maybe this has got a bit more processing power, but you've got 2 controls. You've got a sensor, input and a mix. But these top controls have got a secondary function. There's a little button on the side here. If you press the button for 5 seconds, there's a little LED that's flashing. That means that those then are operating in their secondary function. Or if you hold that button and twist, you also get that secondary function. You do that same thing to access a second bank of 3 presets. You got a little switch in the middle here, blue, green and red, circle, triangle, square. But you can switch banks to a second bank of 3. Now, you know, it'd be great if there was more switches on here so you could change presets. That's virtually a deal breaker. But there is these things at the back here, control input as well. And Source Audio have got a range of things that you can, like a Neuro Hub, which you can connect up. So if you were using lots of Source Audio pedals, then that would be pretty cool, because you just use a mini jack to connect them up to the Source Hub. And then you can change presets all at the same time, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Okay. But in the editor, we can configure what these knobs, in fact, do. Okay, so as I play through the patches, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and figure out kind of what's the best sensitivity. I haven't actually tried it with this little bass yet. And we'll see what the sensitivity is and get it kind of sounding. See what... let me say that again. See if it's any good. Because I tried this out at the NAMM show and I'd heard really good things about it, and I was impressed. It tracks really nicely and it sounds pretty cool. It does have quite a Roland GR sound, as you'll hear. I might turn my mic off. Tracks really, really, really well. Okay, so this is the first preset. So you can adjust the sensitivity of the envelope follower in that B functionality. So let's make it, I'll make it really sensitive. So it's really opening up the filter. Let's make it less sensitive. So obviously you can hear through this microphone a lot of the actual string noise with the mic muted. Yeah, so if you are a player, then it is it's playable. It feels pretty good. Yeah, you can get your groove on with it. So one of the things, like tracking 16ths is where these things typically fall over. Hey, nice to see Kent Spong in the chat room. The legend that is Kent Spong. It's tracking good, isn't it? I can hear the sensitivity, like as I'm knocking the strings, it's kind of making some kind of grumbles. Just one thing first. Last week when I was playing around with this, I talked about how the switches are actually from an 1176. They're the same ones that Universal Audio use, exact same switches, and it's got the all buttons in mode like that. Now I was playing around with this yesterday with the EQ kind of with the tone really rolled off, and this is just the bass going straight in without the synth pedal. Let's turn the mic off and listen how rich this is. It has made me, that sound has made, being as it's just a sound that you can get, has made me really love this bass. All switches in, it does sound really, really rich. If I just go with just this front pickup in the same tone. All in. Get them in. Again, in the microphone. Oh, Synth Addict's going. Have I ever tried a 12-string bass like the one the guy from Cheap Trick uses? I haven't, and I think is it Dean make one or, but I've really wanted to. One of the most mind-blowing music experiences of formative when I was a youngster. One of the first gigs that I saw was King's X on the Faith, Hope, Love tour. So I think that was, what's that, 1989, 1990. It was an early gig for me. And I didn't know anything about King's X. I'd just been told that you got to go and see this band. This is a really amazing band. And so I was down near the front and the band came on and I hadn't even seen what they looked like. And Doug Pinnock, the bass player, he's just like, he's really tall, about 6'5". He's a black guy. which is kind of slightly odd in a heavy rock sort of kind of situation. Not that it should be, it's just a bit unusual, but it certainly was up in North Wales in the Buckley Tivoli. And he had this like shaved head, but this big mohawk, and he was skinny, and he was covered, and he had loads of bangles and all sorts of stuff. He walks on stage and he just starts playing this 12-string bass, like a Motorhead kind of groove. Doug Pinnick, and he had this massive grin on his face as he was doing it, and the sound was like awesome. And then the band started playing, a 3-piece band, and they were doing full, lovely 3-part harmonies, very Beatlesque sort of harmonies, and with this kind of Motorhead sort of, yeah, like a Motorhead Beatles kind of hybrid, you know. Wow. My little mind was absolutely blown on that. So thank you for mentioning that. It's kind of made me remember that, and that was one of those moments that really did blow my mind. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back. We're still on patch 1. So, no, we're not. We took a little detour to listen to just this. It'll be interesting to see how different it sounds with it complete, listening to the synth sound, but seeing if the pickups actually affect the tone. Let's just do that. That's all in. Front pickup. Again, I need to turn my mic out. Of course, there is envelope sensitivity there, so the different pickups are going to have, you know, a little different output, really. So I suppose the only differences there were that, as opposed to any kind of tonal differences affecting it. Anyway, so this first sound, you know, the knobs will let us go to. I have to again mute them. You can get it to sound to track. Asio saying prefer the dry bass sound. Yeah, okay. I mean, we're just scratching the surface at the moment. You'll see in a moment that this does a lot. So I think at the moment I'm just trying to ascertain, is it playable? And I think the answer is yes. You can kind of get into some sort of kind of funky pocket with it. You can get into the funky pocket. Okay, let's try another preset. Oh, I'm sorry, that was actually preset 2. This is preset 1. So obviously, you've always got the dry wet mix available to you. Farty pocket. Let's get right down there. Huh. So it's sort of like it's a bit weird tracking down the bottom there. Third preset. And the thing about these sounds, they might not be particularly interesting in this kind of scenario, but if you whack that through a massive PA rig, hello. Yeah. You know, I think that stuff would kind of do some damage. That's quite nice. So there's like a kind of slower attack on the front. It's the best feeling synth tracking pedal I've ever played, and I've played loads. There are a few I haven't played, to be fair, some modern ones. The Boss SY 1000, although that would be using a GK pickup. But the new Boss, what's it called, the SY1 or something, that's the compact pedal that uses a lot of the same technology. It's got polyphonic tracking in a single, off just a single cable. Oh, no, maybe that one hasn't. The SY 300 does, and I haven't tried that one. So this does feel good. A few more presets then. First, let's have a look. This is in the second bank. Aha. Now this one shows something that it does. So there is some sort of polyphonic angle. There is a polyphonic tracking. I'll take my mic out. Again, not particularly interesting on its own, but through some really lovely effects, reverb, the black hole, etc., could actually be quite nice. Ooh, a bit vowely, isn't it? Yeah, so here, getting the sensitivity right. So your kind of playing sensitivity is being really affected. Oops. Okay, yes, just seen in the chat room. Sorry, yes, just Ty. Hello, Ty. And yes, we have got an editor for it. And yeah, so I think as I'm changing this switch, can we see the preset change? Yeah, so see, so I'm flicking the switch and you can see the presets jumping around there. So we'll kind of dive in a bit now and have a look at what we can do with it and see what's in the, we can see what's actually in the Synth Engine and how far can you push it. Because, look, if I scroll down here, there is something that we haven't seen anything of it yet. Look, there's 2 sequences. And there is quite a lot. You got 2 LFOs, 2 envelopes. You've got 4 voices, and each of the 4 voices can be set up. Let's see what we've got on here. So here's our basic sounds. Each one can be set to. So you've got like a pitch shifter, I guess. Polyphonic pitch 1, 2, monophonic pitch 1 and 2, a stereo input mix, so we can process our actual input, audio input. Saw 2, saw 1, saw 2, sine 1 and 2, square 1 and 2, and the mono inputs 1 and 2. Okay, so all right, but I think maybe there are also I don't know where are they? There is a cloud. There is a kind of no, we don't want to log out. Cloud. Ah, yes. So there's like a kind of community, and people have been posting things. Let's just filter this down. So we're looking at just C4 synth. Okay. So we've got loads of presets as well. Now I'm pretty sure that just a quick click on it, yeah, brings it in. Hip Hop Boy.
Thank
John Foss is saying that the Boss SY300 tracks amazingly for guitar, oddly works best with a piezo pickup. Hey, I found that too. Piezos, I think, are really great for MIDI tracking. Follows you. You can play this. You can actually play it. That is great. It tracks well enough for you to kind of get your groove on, and that means that it's a win in my case. Flashlight. Was I not playing Flashlight earlier? Something like that, I think. Do them Bernie Worrell. Hang on, I want to get the dry out of there. It's weird sound that is. Okay, I'll just flick through a few more of. Oh, welcome to Wolf Records. That sounds good. Anything to do with Wolfpack? Oh, it does nothing. Moving on, Taurus. That's not bad though. Do you know, it's not bad. Okay, sorry, I don't want to bore you with me waffling with this, but okay, so there's some ones to try out there, but I wanted to see some sequences. Is any sequence? Sci-fi. There it is. I thought we would have something like that at some point. I think that's not very interesting. Oh, this more interesting. It's got harmonies. Oh, interesting. quite nice. So does this thing output CV? No, it doesn't. I don't think so. But there are some cute ways of controlling it. They make like a kind of ring controller, a hot hand it's called, and you wear them. And wow, do modulations. But yes, it has USB MIDI, so you can. So I guess, you know, a lot of it is going to be accessible over MIDI. But like this engine though, there's a lot of parameters. Right, yeah, let me just show you something in case this is still droning. It's interesting. Let me just cut to here. So there's a setting in the settings. Oh, I should probably find the setting. I did it from the phone earlier, but there is a setting. Let me go. I reckon the spanner maybe, or the cog. Yeah. Look here. Quick bank switch using foot switch. Quick bank switch using foot switch. 2 seconds. So, because I was thinking, oh, you know, like on stage when I'm gigging and I've got a load of pedals on my pedal board and I sometimes need to switch in a few different ones at different times, and I need to kind of you know, I don't want to be bending down to change parameters. If I can help it, I really try to avoid that. I find that is something you know, it's a real no-no. And this with only one, you know, unless I was using it with MIDI, but because it's only got USB MIDI on it, you'd have to have something like a USB MIDI host and then to the MIDI pedal, and then it starts getting complex. There's a lot of points of failure for a pedal board. I start getting nervous about that sort of stuff. However, if you enable that feature, which is off by default, it means that because you've got your bank A and bank B, so if you turn it on and then long 2 press, you've got your second preset. So it means you can do 2 patches, which is better than 1. But that's off by default, so I thought it might be worth a mention for any of you who do decide to stray down this route. And if you're a player, guitar or bass, I think this is holding a lot of promise. Okay, I think maybe it's time then for us to start having a poke around the engine and then see just a little bit what this thing entails. Oh yeah, I want to come out of this, don't I? Let's go to device. I'm assuming if I click on an empty one here, right, so I'm assuming that this, yeah, they're all the same. Yeah, so these empty ones then is the default state, which sounds like... Okay, so let's turn things off then. So I can see I can turn, if I turn all of these off, I'm assuming I'm going to have nothing. Yeah, so again, you're just hearing the bass coming off my vocal mic. Okay, so we've got our, for some reason the other ones are blocked out, so maybe only voice 1 has access to... No, don't know. So there's probably a whole bunch of reasons to, you know, how things work. See, destination, filter only, distortion and filter. So we've got a processor then. We've got 4. Processor 1 is distortion. And let's have a look. Oh, yeah, like lots of different distortion modes. Yeah, all right, so they're fixed. And then, oh, I see. So you've got processor 1 distortion and processor 1 filtering. And then a mix control for that, and then processor 2 distortion filtering and a mix control for that as well. Okay, envelope 1 and 2, so we can feed that from either of our audio inputs. Oh, interesting. So you could actually process 2 separate audio inputs. You could have another instrument or something else coming in. So that has some interesting potential. LFOs, restart on envelope trigger. which is kind of sensible with this kind of thing. But okay, lots of combinations of LFOs. With different LFO rates, so you can kind of do different LFO clocks, and then the sequences. Oh, and look, there's a bunch of presets as well. So 2 sequences of presets. Now, things get a little bit murky down here. Doesn't seem that it deserves any color. However, interesting, we got here's the pitch detector. So pitch detector is coming from input 1. The low note. Look at this. So you can actually you can constrain the range of the pitch detector, and it's saying E on a 4-string bass, which is this is a bass tuned indeed with an E on the bottom there, and then the high note. Now that goes way higher than we need. This will be somewhere bass with 20 frets. I think we're 20 frets away. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, we're 21 frets. Okay, so that's an E. It's an E. So let's have a look. Yes, there we go. Yeah, of course. So that makes sense to lock it into the range of your instrument. So you've got 2 tracking algorithms there, faster tracking and higher accuracy tracking. Okay, so I might have a look at that in a bit. Harmony. Now this is the stuff that always interests me. So we can pick our scale, and then we've got 2 different intervals. So for generating chords and whatnot. Nice. And then our master key. Knob assignment. So this is what sets that kind of those 2 controls, control 1, control 2 on the pedal itself. You can decide which of lots of parameter options there. And then you've got external control now. So I won't go into this very much, but we'll see that hot hand or dual expression, those are products made by Source Audio. So they do like a pedal that has got 2 different outputs on there, hence its name dual exp. And the hot hand, which is, as I say, the wireless thing. And then the hub remote expression, that then would take you into the world of MIDI, which it certainly would be interesting to explore at some point. Routing. Okay, auto detect, single input, dual input 1 and 2. And then look, pre-effect and external loop. So that's one thing where you could... I'm not sure where it is in the signal chain, but you can use the other inputs. It's got 2, stereo in, stereo out. You could use that as an effects loop within it. So that has got a lot of potential as well. Okay, so that's a quick tour around it. We should start having a little play around with actual sounds, I think. So I've turned off everything at the moment, so I'll just turn on a single voice now. Oh yeah, look, and we've got master controls, input gain for 1 and 2. So we can ignore input 2 for today. Master depth, envelope, mod source, so you can blend it from the envelope to the LFO, an EQ, bass and treble. Here's our dry wet mix, low retain. Now that's kind of cool. I've seen it on earlier Source Audio pedals. You just bring that in. I guess that's some very steep low pass filter from your dry signal possibly. But anyway, that's good to see, especially for bass. Output volume and output balance. Okay, so the output balance between our left and right outputs. Nice. Okay, so with just it's just one of the 4 potential oscillators. Saw 2. I'm just going to check this. So I'm guessing if I say mono input 1. Nice. So that is my pickup sound going into the filter. So if we want to, then we don't even need to use any of the synth sounds at all, and we could just use this as a distortion and a filter. Okay, so versatile pedal straight away. But I'm going to be making 2 patches at some point. So I'm going to be needing to think about how to make those patches work exactly what I need them for, which, is for playing kind of hip-hop-y modern stuff, synthy kind of modern stuff. So they don't need to be particularly heavily modulated or do an awful lot, but they just need to have the right tone and the right playability, which so far so good. It feels like it does do the business. One thing you also do need to be aware of, I've certainly found with a lot of pedals, is that the output volumes of different guitars can vary so much, so it will really impact heavily on any presets and however the envelope tracking is set. And in some cases it will sound horrible because it will be really, set up for completely the wrong kind of gain structure. So I do use a mixture of passive and active basses. So I'll need to figure out whether I need to further upstream get the signal levels equated so they're always hitting that in the same. I think that would probably be the sensible way to do that. I've got some ideas for that, but yeah, big difference. It's one of the main reasons a lot of pedals sound different, though, is just the output levels of guitars, vary so drastically. Anyway, let's have a look. So let's come, right, we were checking out the saw. We could go to square, actually. I mean, this isn't particularly interesting to do this, but it's got kind of a good I see there's some sort of noise gatey sort of issue that I need to find a way of. Let's see, I might have a buzz in the system. Nope. Sounds pretty clean to me, so maybe too much input sensitivity or something there is causing that to be is causing that to generate some sort of note. Oh, okay, I've had a request to jam from Inky. All right, let's do something then. I'll work with this sound for a moment. So I'm only using just a one square wave. Should maybe do a little bit more with it. Ah, you see that? Look at this processor. Oh no, that's off. That's the filter. So if I turn this off, I guess we'll have an unfiltered. Get that filter back on. Yeah. Just got to stop it doing this low knocking. It's just, there's got to be some sort of gate. There's got to be, maybe just input gain is too high. Let's try dropping the input gain down. Still doing it. Input gain low now. Still doing it a bit, but it's a lot better. Yeah. Anyway, so, I mean, it's kind of promising with just a single oscillator on. But sometimes you do get that thing, don't you, where you get a really fat sound with an oscillator, and then when you start combining oscillators, you get a different kind of fat sound. But I always think of that about like SH101. I mean, I guess you get sub octave on that, but it can sound so fat in its kind of simple one oscillator vibe. Okay. I'll try and get like a little really simple groove going, but I'll try and just put a little bit of velocity variance in and see how much groove we can actually get off it. 1, 2, 3. tell you what, I'm going to cancel that. I was just thinking then, actually, that thing about glitching, if you control the glitching, that's when things get quite cool. Because, you know, you can like flick off, get some harmonics. Oh, I've had an idea. Getting some in time kind of delay vibe. Cool. Sorry, really cruddy sort of fade out there. All right. This is, I'm liking this pedal. I am liking this pedal. I think it's interesting. It's just having just a little play around with it. Let me just have a little look at this harmonizing side of things though and see what that can do. So I'm guessing that you can use it as, in fact, let's do this. I'm going to set it as mono input, coming in here. I'm going to bypass the filter and any distortion here. Just to see if we've got any sound. Right, so we need to turn on, that's on. If I just change that to a sawtooth, does that? Okay, let's leave that then. On mono input. Or perhaps it needs in the mixer. I haven't looked at this at all, so off. Mixer on. Yes, that makes sense. I can hear the envelope affecting that input as well. So let's get rid of that. Let's have no, let's see, envelope, mod source. Let's just move it all the way to LFO for now. Not sure. So, but anyway, I wanted to have a little look at this. So harmony. Now where can you get those harmony voices from? Can you turn them on here? Do they appear? Right. Oh, with sequencer. Let's get a sequencer on the go. Let's do this. We got a tap there, so we can tap in. That's cool. Always good to have tap ability. I'm guessing I could sync it if it was in the MIDI system. Still need to figure out. I don't want to be too boring and look at something that I don't quite get, but just getting my head around learning. Oh, see, master depth. Let's take that out. I still got that on the front. Let's take these envelopes. I'll just move them over to audio and put 2 for now. See if that gets rid of it. Okay, so it needs an envelope. Okay, let's make that slow then. Super fast. Oh, there are gates here. Okay. Okay. Yes, so our little sequencers, how do you enable them? I'm guessing they are a mod source, won't they? They will be a mod source. So let's see. Destination filter. I'll set our thing to distortion and filter as well then. Let's have a look at this. Moderate. That's not distorting, is it? Oh, so we have to turn it on. Okay. Okay, so it seems like the sensitivity is still... oh yeah, look, envelope off. There we go, that's what it was. Okay, pretty obvious now. Now I'm seeing interval now. That will let us go to harmony. Yeah, so voice 2. Let's see, that could be a monophonic pitch shift. And it's going to be harmony. Let's see now, turn that voice on. We probably need to turn it on. Oh no, voice 2 in the mix, maybe. No. Yeah, so obviously with an editor like this, there's a lot of trial and error, prodding and exploring and seeing what it can do. I'm not going to go too long onto this, but I'm curious about the sequencer, and I reckon I can find some on the cloud. Let's have a look. Oh, there are different pages here. Maybe if we filter it, there was this search, and then let's see. We want to see the synth, and we want sequence. Let's have a little browse, see if anyone... Okay, synth-based sequence. This will probably be quicker to get someone else. Okay, so a really simple little kind of octavey thing. Oh, why didn't they put MIDI on a mini jack? Or a gate, even better. Clock, you know. Okay, so let's see where our sequence was getting. Just a quick little look at how that was set up, so I can figure things out. Oh, okay. So our voice is there. Look, we can see that the voice 2 is set to be the sequencer, or interval sequencer. Okay. It's definitely an interesting pedal. Trippy sequence. That sounds good. Whoa, hang on. That level is crazy. So the levels. There's some harmonizing going on in there as well. Oscillating sequence. I'm kind of nervous about the levels now. Boo to that one. Mountain Temple. Ow! Oh my god! There's no kind of LUFS equivalent to kind of preset management, is there? Sorry, that was a bit obscure, but, you know, as a way of kind of getting all your mastering into sort of setting it to the certain loudness levels, there should be something like that with presets, I think. Okay, interesting. A major step this is. Do I need to see what key? A major? So is it just a question of changing? Let's get a harmonic minor. Ian Tyndale saying there should be a LUFS qualification for YouTube vids. The amount of them which start with loud music and then you can't hear the person at all, and you can't. Good, are you allowed to say that? Yeah, we can't be bothered to change the settings. I want to go into D Dorian. That's a comfortable place to play. So try and so sometimes with these things you have to be incredibly monophonic in your playing style. Sounds like weird in the tuning. Let's check some other little 32-step sequence. Let's see what... Oh, so maybe you can change sequences, can you? Holy crap! Di Stanton failing to see the point of this thing. I know, I tell you, if you're rocking a massive gig, and I intend to be doing that pretty soon, through a big sound system, and you've got something like this on your pedal board, that is the point. I tell you what, and you will make people want to poo themselves. That's the point. No. That's what I'm intending to do. Not with the brown note. No, just sheer mad low end sort of bowel destruction. Yeah, but the point of maybe these sequences, yeah, I mean, one of the kind of things about it is this stuff's all very well and good, but if it's not easy to clock to, then, you know, it's almost pointless, you know. If there was a, yeah, as I just mentioned, if there was some sort of analog gate aspect to it, or, you know, even MIDI on a mini jack, you know, but you have to kind of go through something of their own if you want to do that. Or you have to use a MIDI to USB host thing, and yeah. Okay. I mean, a lot of these presets. Let's see, mystery arpeggio. He's doing it on his own. Oh. What kind of bass playing is this? Go and stand at the back of the class. I tell you, some of these levels are stinking. You know, let's have a look what's going on with these levels. Whether, I don't know, doesn't look, don't understand. Need to learn. I Feel Love. Donna Summer? What's it? Yeah, so again, it needs to be syncable, which it is. I'm sure it is via MIDI, via USB MIDI, which again, I think is a real shame. But that sort of stuff, obviously, once it's all synced, becomes a lot more useful. But I've learned my lesson. I'm going to start with a patch on low and then bring it in. So this has got some of the dry signal at the front, isn't it? Okay, so I mean, this is all coming from the community, and all right. So how many pages of... I've got 4 pages of sequence of presets that have been the President's Egg Hunt. Oh, hang on. It's saying plug a patch cable from output 2 to input 2. Oh. Oh. What's going on there? Should we do as I say? Let me find one. Ugh, why are they too far away? I'll just use the one that I've got set up for this. I'm going to turn the volume down first. Ooh. What's this? What's it going to do? Did it actually load it in? All right, so actually there's a bunch of them here. Plug a patch cable from output 2 to input 2. Hit a single note, turn your instrument volume off. Okay. Yeah. No thanks. Don't know. Is this... Okay. So this is just sort of... I'm generally quite impressed with the sound quality of this pedal though. There's loads of these. I guess you can get in and start messing with the sequence, can you? Okay. Yeah. Okay. There are things to discover, for sure. Haven't really set the controls up to do an awful lot of interest. Okay, well, it's a thing. It's a thing that it can do. It shows some creativity in the community anyway, making stuff like that. That's kind of cool. So, I mean, this kind of stuff, what's kind of cool is it lets you sequence. Oh, well, we've lost it. Is it gone? It's gone. Did it crash? No. Where has it gone? Yeah, it crashed. Okay. All right. Little thing crashed. So I guess we can... Is it? It's still on. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, it's resynced again. Okay, so it did crash. This is running the Neuro editor on the Mac M1, so, and yeah, things are still not particularly stable if you are thinking of taking the M1 jump, a Mac M1. I think, you know, me being an early adopter, this is the kind of thing that you have to put up with. New iMacs do look really, really good, though. I know some people don't like the look of them so much, but very, very capable music production machines, and for, you know, pretty decent price, I think, relatively. shall we move on from the pedal? Shall we have a little look at this? Shall we have a look at anyone fancy seeing the vocoder in action? I mean, I've never used it. It might be a complete disaster. So perhaps, yeah. Paul Mint is saying you can only get up to 16 gig in the new iMac. What I would say about that, from my experience, I've got 16 gig in this MacBook, and I've been doing video editing on it. I think it uses memory in quite a different way. I think the need for sort of memory, I mean, yeah, this probably isn't. It's probably. It's going to be a weakness, isn't it? For sure. However, I think it does make you rethink that a little bit. Inky's going, yes, vocoder. Okay, let's have a look at this then. Have we got one of these? No, let's do. That'll do for now. Okay. So the Micro Freak from Arturia had a fantastic update a few months ago where it brought all these noise engineering. Oh, I need sound. Let me just plug in. Those noise engineering oscillators are absolutely brilliant. I would say if you haven't got a Micro Freak, just buy one. I really can't. They're so small. I think it's an absolute modern classic. I can't get over just how good it is and how versatile it is. And in fact, on a bunch of production work I've been on recently, I keep using this one, and it's quite often the only synth that I'm using on the actual hardware synths. On some of the productions, I've got a lot of choices, but it's just it covers so much ground. Anyway, I think if I come up here, I can find some. Whoa! Let's just turn that down for a mo. There are some presets, so I think that'll be a good starting place when I haven't even used it at all. But yeah, so I mentioned earlier, if you have a Micro Freak, this is a special purpose-built microphone with a special socket that is made just for it. And don't dilly-dally. I don't know how long these things will be on the market for. So just get one, because if they stop making them, it'll be really sad. Maybe they won't, but they're about 20 odd quid. So Martin Taylor saying that Mylar Melodies has just got an RC505. Yeah, he's going to love it. Again, that's an insta buy. This is, I would say, in the last 10 years, certain like best things that have come out in the last 10 years, I would put this in that category. I'd also put the Micro Freak in that category, and I'd also put I can't reach it now, but Touche from Expressive E in that category as well. Yeah, just my tuppence worth, but like affordable things, especially. I mean, this is a very affordable synth, I think. Anyway, you don't need me to sell you one of these. I'm not trying to sell it. I just think credit where it's due. It's a really, really great synth. It is a monophonic output, so you can't do any stereo stuff with it internally, and there's no built-in effects either. So it really needs an effect to go with it. I've used it with the Modrex. In fact, this is usually plugged into this as well. The Modrex. We've played around with the Modrex a few times, but works great in conjunction with the Micro Freak. You do have to be a bit careful about how much gain you're plugging from the microfreak into that. It doesn't. You do need to back it off a little bit. Anyway, let's find some. I don't know. Can you filter? I don't think you can filter the searches. Vocoder. Here we go. What I'll do is then I'm going to come off my main mic and I'm going to just try it with. Dusty Rivers suggested using it with the C4, plugging the microfreak into the C4. Yeah, yeah. I think it'll not be very nice, actually. I've tried things like that before. We can try it, but yeah. Let's have a listen to these vocoders. I'll turn my main mic off and I'll just step through a bunch of patches, see what it sounds like. See, fallen at the first hurdle. Okay, so I've got to figure out why. Do you need? Maybe it's a utility. Maybe you need to enable it. Oh, mic settings. Here we go. Mic gain. 12 dB. Want to go vocal? Oh yeah, maybe. Yes. Okay, I'll do the same again. We want to see how clean we could get the vocoder. We want to start the word numeracy. Can you understand anything that I'm saying? Can you understand? Can you understand? Trying to see what they have to do. I'm going to get a really bad back if I carry that on. I'm going to probably actually knock it off. I might go in a mo if that's okay, everyone, because I've got a load more work to do today. And yeah. I think with this vocoder, I was just thinking, I'm having a brief look at it. It's doing my back in. It really hurting my back bending over. So I want to stop doing that, and I can't be bothered to unplug it all. Sorry, that sounds really lazy. But anyway, I think tonight though, what I was really interested in doing was, this thing had just arrived today, and I ordered it because I've got these gigs coming up, and it's, as I say, it's pedalboard bound, and it's yeah. On the pedal board, it doesn't have to do very much. Just a couple of really key, fat, thick sounds. And after what I've been playing around with tonight, it will definitely do that. It will fulfill that purpose. So it's yes, I can declare that the that the C4 synth has earned a spot on my pedal board. So yeah, I'm really pleased about that. And I do think, although it'd be better if I could access more presets just with it, I suppose the small footprint, which, you know, on your pedal board, it's good to have that small footprint. Being able to go between two presets. I'll just show you there's one little downside of that. It's only a small one, but it means that if you're using this sound, like say sound 1, oh, I unplugged, yeah. And I want to change in the gig. Let's get this out of the way. If I want to change the sound in the gig, and I press and hold it for 2 seconds, and then bypass. What you can't do is I can't set up the preset. I can't switch presets without first engaging it. So you just have to be mindful in, you know, in the heat of a gig, that you'd have to kind of go, you'd have to sort of surreptitiously turn it on and go, is it red or green the next song? You know, oh, it's green. Oh, it's red, you know, do it. Sometimes it's nice to be able to set something up without engaging it, and then when you engage it, it's ready. Actually, that was a really boring non-issue. Sorry about that. Okay, let's do a little jam out, and then thanks again, everybody. I'll just do some of my little closing thoughts and thank yous. I'd like to thank everybody for checking out the Gaz Williams Show, and also my Adventures in Eurorack show, if you follow that too. Thank you ever so much. Please consider subscribing, liking, and click that stinking bell if you really want to see Bearded Man waffle about his latest toy. Yes. Now, but you could call it a toy. I don't call this a toy. I'd actually call this, the C4 synth, a weapon. And this little bass, this little thing, I have become quite a fan of in the last 2 days. In fact, yesterday was the moment where me and this instrument became friends. You know, I think there'd been a little bit of like circling around, kind of, you know, just not, you know, this short scale thing. And I do like the switching. The switching is cool. That gets the thumbs up. So, and the sounds are great. Anyway, I'm covering what I covered in last week. The C4, though, as I say, has definitely it's definitely earned a tick in my book. The editor is, yeah, it's a bit confusing. I'm gonna have to learn my way around it. It's certainly sophisticated and proper synth kind of, you know, it's proper synth language, as in LFOs and envelopes and the like, and sawtooths, and because sometimes stuff that kind of comes, you know, that's kind of aimed at guitarists, use other terms to try and guitarify. Yeah. Okay, so what we got on here? All right, everybody. Thanks ever so much. Yeah, bit of a so-so sort of jam at the end there, but definite thumbs up about this pedal. And who knows, in the future I might do something else with it. I definitely want to do something with my pedal board, but I'll definitely let you know how I get on with it, and maybe share some patches in the future once I've tackled this editor. So that's it for now. Hey, Wagyu, thanks one more time. That's amazing. Thank you, everybody. That's a real pleasure once again. Thanks for joining me, and take care. See you soon. And yeah, be nice and kind. Do to others as you would have done to yourself. It's never a truer thing spoken. Okay, I'll be back on Monday with Adventures in Eurorack if you're interested in that. Otherwise, I'll see you maybe Wednesday if you fancy joining me for my show next week. I've got a guest. Let me just tell you about the guest just before I go. I've got an engineer and producer par excellence joining me. His name is Charlie Francis. He's worked with REM. He produced the High Llamas in the 90s. A huge fan. Wow. What a band, High Llamas, but also REM and his association with REM and lots of other artists. Is a fantastic producer and has got a really interesting career. He started off, he was Toya's bass player right at the beginning there. So he was on Top of the Pops as a teenager playing bass, and or maybe early 20s, not sure. We'll talk all about that on the show next week. So he's brilliant, and he's got lots of really interesting stories, and he's been producing music for a long time. So please join us for that show next week. I'm really excited to bring Charlie onto the show. He's a great friend of mine, and a mentor in many ways as well. So it's just going to be a big pleasure for me to have him on the show. Okay, that was it. Thanks again. Bye-bye.